All right. Good evening. I'd like to welcome Chief Austin to say our invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Dear wise and loving Father, we pray your blessings upon this meeting and all those gathered here. We thank you for this opportunity to care for this beautiful community we call Milton. And Father, during this time together, as we go about the business of the city, we pray for our elected officials, our city staff, and the community members that we serve. We pray that you give us all a sense of wisdom, of fairness, and of justice as we all work together to be good stewards of this great community in which you have entrusted us. It is in your most blessed and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I would like to call the regular meeting of the Milton City Council for Monday, January 19th, 2022 to order. The city strongly recommends that you review tonight's agenda carefully, and if you wish to speak on any item on the agenda, then please bring your comment cards to the clerk as soon as possible. While the Milton rules allow a speaker to turn in their comment card up until the clerk calls the agenda item, once the agenda item is called, no more comment cards can be accepted. Will the city clerk please call roll and make general announcements?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Be happy to call roll for the January 19th, 2022 regular meeting. I would like to remind those in attendance to please silence all cell phones at this time. Those attending the meeting who would like to make a public comment, you are required to complete the public comment cards prior to speaking on the item. Your comment card must be presented to the city clerk prior to the agenda item being called. All speakers, please identify yourself by name, address, and organization before beginning your comment. If you are representing an organization, an affidavit is required stating you have the authority to speak on behalf of that organization. Please review tonight's agenda, and if you would like to make a comment, please bring your comment card to me now. Demonstration of any sort within the chamber is prohibited. Please refrain from any applause, cheering, booing, outburst, or dialogue with anyone speaking. Anyone in violation will be asked to leave. As I call roll this evening, please confirm your attendance. Mayor Peyton Jamison.
Here.
Councilmember Andrea Veerhoff. Here. Councilmember Paul Moore.
Here.
Councilmember Carol Kirkley.
Here.
Councilmember Jan Jacobus.
Here.
And Councilmember Rick Morrig.
Here.
And for the record, Councilmember Juliet Johnson is absent. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will go on to approve the meeting agenda with I would like to ask council to make the following changes. The following new business items to move the following new business items to immediately follow the consent agenda. Agenda item number 22-049, agenda item number 22-050, and I'd like to add an executive session to discuss land acquisition, personnel, and potential litigation. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as adjusted by you this evening.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Morg. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Is there any general public comment, Tammy?
There is not, Mayor, not a general public comment.
Okay, so I will waive the public comment information and ask the city clerk to please call the next item.
Mayor, that next item is approval of meeting agenda. It's agenda item number 22030. Mayor?
We just did that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So close.
So close. Let's move right on into consent agenda, Mayor. Mayor, that first item is approval of the December 20th, 2021 regular city council meeting minutes. It's agenda item number 22031. Item B is approval of the January 3rd, 2022 regular city council meeting minutes. It's agenda item number 22032. Item C is approval of a concessions contract between the City of Milton and Top Shelf Food and Beverage Management, doing business as Top Shelf Concessions to provide concession services at Bell Memorial Park. It's agenda item number 22033. Item D, approval of a recreation provider agreement between the City of Milton and Rush Union Soccer, Inc. to provide recreational adult soccer programming. Agenda item number 22034. Item E, approval of an agreement for services for First Due Size Up a comprehensive emergency response platform and record management system services agreement with Locality Media, Inc., doing business as First Due. It's agenda item number 22033. Our final item F is approval of a grant funding for the State of Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, known as the CJCC, for use of force and de-escalation training. It's agenda item number 22036. Mayor?
Thank you. I'd like to open it for a motion and a second.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Verhoff and a second from Councilmember Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. So we will now move on to the new business items that were moved. Will the city clerk please sound the items?
Thank you, Mayor. That new item is item D under new business. It's consideration of a resolution appointing the chief judge of the municipal court for the city of Milton, Georgia, pursuant to Article 5 of the city charter. It's agenda item number 22049. Mayor Jameson?
Thank you. Council, I would like to appoint Chief Judge Brian Hansford. He is currently the chief judge and has been our chief judge since 2013. He was an associate judge before that. He is a partner in a private practice and has done a wonderful job representing the city since he's been serving. So I would like to make that nomination.
Mr. Mayor, it would be my pleasure to make the motion to approve Judge Brian Hansford as our city judge.
Okay. I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Cookerly. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. I'll come swear Chief Judge in again. Done this so many. No one's gonna hold it for you.
Will you hold it for him? Yes. I mean, Judge, I would come down, and it would be my honor.
I've got to do it with my left.
Well, I think, perfect. Okay, so repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Brian A. Hansford, do solemnly swear
that I will well and truly conduct myself as municipal court judge
that I will well and truly conduct myself as municipal court judge
of the city of Milton for the ensuing term,
of the city of Milton for the ensuing term,
that I will faithfully enforce the charter and ordinance of the city of Milton
that I will faithfully enforce the charter and the ordinances of the city of Milton
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
without fear, favor, or partiality,
without fear, favor, or partiality,
that I am not the holder
that I'm not the holder
of any unaccounted public money due the state
of any unaccounted for public money due to state
or any political subdivision or authority thereof,
or any political subdivision or authority thereof,
and in all my actions as city municipal court judge,
and in all my actions as city municipal court judge,
act as I believe for the best interest of the city of Milton.
act as I believe is in the best interest of the city of Milton.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you for doing that. That's a lot of big words. It's not very easy. Make me more cognizant. Everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
So we will now move on to reports and presentations. Will the city clerk sound the first item?
Thank you, Mayor. That first item is update on the local road safety plan. It's presented by our Public Works Director, Ms. Sarah Leaders.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this presentation tonight is an update on Milton's local road safety plan. Items we'll cover in the presentation, first of all, are defining what a local road safety plan is. We'll go over the plan's vision and mission, the plan process, and the consultant services that we have going on the plan. The progress we've made so far, our stakeholder and community engagement, so what's been done and what's upcoming related to community engagement. Then I'll turn it over to our consulting partner, Andrew Antweiler, who will talk about the Task 1 findings, and that relates to safety data and analysis. And then he'll also talk about the Task 2, which is identifying the emphasis areas. And those emphasis areas are really going to set the foundation and the groundwork to support the strategies and solutions that are going to be the next steps in the plan. I'll come back and highlight the next steps and then review a summary of the presentation. So the Federal Highway Administration, which is through the U.S. Department of Transportation, encourages communities to develop local road safety plans. And it allows us to evaluate what's working, what's not, and what more can be done at the local level. It's included in Federal Highway's toolkit as what they call a proven safety countermeasure. The infographic on the right on this slide illustrates what the plan calls as a map to safer roadways. So it's a list of steps to follow to get through this planning process. Those steps provide a framework for identifying and analyzing and prioritizing roadway safety improvements. And most important in the local road safety plan is it's a process and content that can be tailored to local issues and needs. The Milton Local Road Safety Plan will support, first of all, our strategic plan, one of our strategic plan goals, which is to implement transportation infrastructure that meets current needs, accounts for future growth, and allows residents to traverse Milton in a calm, safe, and efficient manner. And our mission and vision for the plan support this strategic plan goal. As we held our first community stakeholder meeting back a few weeks ago, we did make some adjustments to the mission statement. We'd established a mission statement early on in the plan, but took into account some public input to add some statements to our mission. And those additions were that our improvements would respect Milton's rural heritage and enhance the quality of life. And that's just an example of how the process can be tailored along the way based on input we receive. And this, again, brings the local context to making our roadways as safe as possible. The steps on the left of this slide show the steps that were part of that federal highway roadmap. And then on the right-hand side are the tasks that we've assigned to our consultant to help us through this process. So step 1 is to identify the leadership and stakeholders. This plan is being led by a combined effort of Public Works and the Police Department. We also are including a significant amount of community stakeholder input in the process. Step 2 is to collect and analyze safety data. And as part of that, our consultant is providing task 1 and 2. So task 1 was a look at the safety data with a context towards what solutions could come out of this plan. And then task 2 is validating what we're calling our emphasis areas. And those are looking at where we have issues, concerns, and fears with our roadways. We're at the end of step 2 and task 2. And so tonight we're going to be presenting our findings so far. Step 3 is going to build on, again, the foundation of task 1 and 2, which is to choose cost-effective solutions. And that aligns with the consultant's task 3. The consultant's task 4 is just to document all this in a report. And then that will lead us into step 4 to actually implement the solutions. We have the option to add consultant services for future tasks as we get ready to implement, depending on what comes out of task 3. And then finally, step 5 is just a completion of the projects and evaluating our results. This slide shows some of the progress we've made to date. On the right is our project plan that shows the different items we've accomplished since we began this project in the fall of 2020. I just wanted to highlight a few of the key milestones that we've been through so far on the plan. We held a community survey in early 2021 and had a great response, had 378 responses to the 16-question survey. that gave us a lot of good base data as we move forward with our data analysis. In April of 2021, we discussed the options for the next steps. And as part of that council presentation, the direction was to move forward with a combined staff and consultant effort on the project to help push the plan through. So in the fall of 2021, we partnered with KCI, who's our consulting partner on the project. And then one other milestone to highlight is we held our first community stakeholder meeting in December of 2021. Our goal for stakeholder input on the project is to engage representatives from all areas and aspects of the city. We have a group of agency stakeholders, which are individuals from public works, police, fire, and communications. And then we have community stakeholders. So we held our first community stakeholder meeting, like I said, in December of 2021. And at that meeting, we had representatives from the equestrian committee, members that were part of the development of the Trails Advisory Committee, had bicycling community members, and then some residents in our form-based code areas of Crabapple and State Route 9. And our goal too with the stakeholders is the project team plans to continue to create opportunities for some focused stakeholder engagement. Again, we want to capture all areas and aspects of the city and using stakeholders to make sure we're covering all the input throughout the city. Then to highlight our community engagement plan, the goal of this is to provide opportunities for the community to learn and share in the plan. We have some public forums that will be held, both in person and virtual interaction opportunities. Again, the goal of those is to listen, learn, and contribute to the plan. Working with communications, we'll have social media posts throughout the plan process, videos, a web page, and then we'll continue to provide city council updates as well. And now I'll turn it over to Andrew to talk a little bit about what we found in these first couple tasks on the plan.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So we began with stepping into this task and assisting the city, looking at task 1 and 2, as Sarah indicated. We began by looking at a lot of information that has been prepared by the city staff and have developed a report to summarize our findings to this point. So on the slide there, it indicates 5 topic areas that are included in that report. I believe you received a copy of that prior to the meeting. So we'll go over a few of those findings that we have to this point in the study. We begin with a review of these different documentation, information from City Police Department, from the Community Engagement Survey that Sarah mentioned, also previous council updates. So this provided a lot of information for us to begin and get up to speed. The Community Engagement Survey provided a lot of information, and which was very helpful to us to start to get an idea of what were the concerns of the community. And so we've highlighted in the next 2 slides 2 survey questions. Survey question 8 asked the community what roadway conditions make them feel unsafe while driving. And these were the top 6 concerns identified here. Listed are distracted drivers, vehicle speeds, bicycles, roadside ditches, nighttime visibility, and roadway curves. Another question, which is very helpful, provided feedback on what specific streets and intersections residents had safety concerns with. They identified 28 streets, and 3 of the top streets with the most comments are listed here, include Freemanville Road, Birmingham Highway, and Hopewell Road. Then our team performed a citywide review of 5 years of crash data. And this was done to help us identify trends in the city and help us identify proposed emphasis areas. A few of the trends highlighted here include that on a typical year, there are over 600 crashes. The vast majority of crashes are property damage only, so they're less severe crashes. Over 42% of the total crashes are rear-end crashes, which is a common crash type. But also 60% of the crashes are at intersections, so we've noted that. And also the last comment is a significant number of crashes occur off the roadway or single vehicle crashes. And so that will help inform us what type of strategies to implement. And some of these single vehicle crashes involve deer, involve trees, and so there's some strategies we can look at for those. We also performed a review of roadway conditions. We drove 18 of the major streets, and that was based on input from the survey, input from staff. There's different street types. And these preliminary observations helped us to inform, once again, some emphasis areas that would be appropriate for the city. So with all the information, speaking with city, we've identified 6 emphasis areas for the local road safety plan. And these include vehicle speeds, distracted drivers, roadway and shoulder conditions. And that's meant to address both vehicles maintaining the road and then physical infrastructure of the road and along the side of the road. That includes fixed objects along the side of the road, trees, for example. Our 4th area is non-motorized modes. So that would include pedestrians, bicyclists, and equestrians, intersection safety, and then wildlife and deer. As we looked at these different areas, we also thought of 2 additional focus areas that would be appropriate for the local road safety plan. There's multiple emphasis areas that could help address these. The 2 focus areas are multimodal gravel roads and then personal transportation vehicles or golf carts. We're aware the city has other ongoing efforts to help address these. And so those, we think, will be also looked at as part of our plan. Hand it back to Sarah.
Thanks, Andrew. So this just shows, again, tonight we've talked about the task 1 and 2. We plan to pick up some community engagement after this to share information and solicit comments on the results of these 2 tasks. Then the consultant will move into task 3, where we're really digging into strategies and solutions, ways to address these emphasis areas through the 3 E's, which are engineering, education, and enforcement. Finally, after we have some results from that task, we'll do some further community engagement and presentations on finalizing the plan. So in summary, tonight was just a check-in point on the plan to provide an update, and we're about 50% complete on our plan development. Then there's the implementation phase that will take some time as well. We also wanted to provide a preview to what we're going to be doing with public education and engagement in the process. We wanted to see if there were any further comments on the emphasis areas as we get ready to move forward. And then our next step, like I said, is moving forward with really getting into strategies and solutions for these emphasis areas. This is a working document throughout the process, and we welcome input and change as we work through this. And our goal is to connect with our citizens every step of the way so they can be involved, engaged, and informed in what's happening with the plan. So we're looking forward to seeing the plan take shape over the next couple of months. And I'll end with bringing up again those emphasis areas, and that concludes the presentation. And if there's any comments on what we've laid out for these areas of concern, we'd be glad to listen to those or answer any other questions.
Thanks, Sarah. Any questions? Councilman Jacobus?
When you took a look at the 60% of crashes that happened at intersections, do you have the difference between roundabouts, traffic light intersections, and just 4-way stops?
We do have the information, sir. We, at this point, have just kind of looked at trends and haven't there is additional analysis that can be done as we identify the appropriate areas to spend the effort. So we do have the information in terms of where crashes are occurring. I don't have a specific number or split for you tonight.
Councilmember Moore?
Chair, as you've gone through, it looks like a great number of steps that you've taken, and I really appreciate the engagement of the community. I don't remember seeing the questions that were asked, but at least one of the things that I see coming out of the questions was the high emphasis on speed in the area. And I think that's probably predictable too, that some of the roads that were identified are those that are causal in that being the outcome. What I didn't see in the information that's been presented so far, and maybe it's being included, but just hasn't surfaced yet, is an analysis of when and where and at what significance we're writing tickets. It's one thing to engage the crash study, and I think Chief has done a great job over the years of letting us know where our hot points are, and we've taken steps to do that. But I'm not sure, other than anecdotally, what we've heard over the years, that some of our superhighways that have now taken a stronghold in the city could be affected if we add in the measure of where tickets are written and at what significance. Is that something that's going to be part of the study, or is that something that we can consider? It's not.
In our initial data review, we took all of the traffic complaints that police had received, which that tends to be where some of the targeted enforcement takes place. And I'll let Chief Austin jump in if I've missed anything, but that was a big component of the data collection, was where have they received complaints, and what data have they collected, and what enforcement have they done in those specific areas.
So whenever we get a traffic complaint, we don't just simply send officers out. We do a lot of data analysis on those areas. We have some tools to do that. We download that data. We share the feedback with the citizens that have complained. And then once we've established the when, to what extent the problem's occurring, then we deploy resources to those areas. And those typically line up with our higher crash areas. If not, then we certainly feel like we're doing prevention in those. And it has been successful, that approach. Spoiler alert, tonight you'll hear that our crashes are down significantly. So it seems to be working, but yes, and certainly we're in communication with Public Works whenever we find engineering issues as well. So we don't look at it just from the aspect of the types of crashes that we're having, or speeds, or the complaints. We look at it holistically.
So Chief, when we do that, do we actually consolidate the information that says, gee, on Freemanville, the average rate of speed that we're ticketing is X number of miles over the posted speed limit, or we have a higher frequency of ticket writing on Tuesdays versus Thursdays, or Mondays are bad? Or
We have that analysis available.
Mhm.
We look at when most of the violations are occurring and at what time, and then we deploy resources in an intelligence-led manner to those specific areas. So really, it's kind of a force multiplier for us.
Great. Yeah, thank you. It sounds like the data is available, and as it makes sense, please consider incorporating that into the study. Thank you.
Steve, do you want to jump in?
I may be able to help a little bit more with that. So if I'm understanding where you were going with that, we're also collecting data on a regular basis. The new speed signs that you've seen placed throughout the city now record that data. It doesn't record individual data. We don't know who's speeding, but we know the date, the time, and the speed, so we can start better focusing our enforcement or maybe engineering or education efforts on the back end of whatever comes out of our strategies. That was one of the benefits. We put up 10 around the city, and I anticipate more coming as a result of this as well. So we should be able to get that data. In fact, we've spoken with our GIS team about making that data. I met with Sarah as well, about making that data readily available to everybody. So all you have to do is click on our GIS on our city map, and you can click anywhere and find out what is the latest speed study in that stretch of road. So that's the long-term plan for that.
Great. Terrific. Thanks, Steve.
Councilmember Moore?
Yeah, I noticed one of the areas you said focus area was multimodal gravel roads. What specifically are you looking at, and what are the concerns as it relates to the gravel roads?
First, and then let you talk to it. It was an item that came up a lot on our survey that we did back in February. And I think we wanted to say that there are some, some ongoing city efforts looking at, providing, one thing might be providing additional trail opportunities within green spaces and other places to walk. And, maybe there's not such a high demand for during peak times when vehicles are on those too. And then, yeah, it was just an item that did come up in the survey, and some things we might look at with some of the strategies could be related to maintenance, signage, some things like that. Did you have any other thoughts on?
Sure. We also heard that when there's multiple different users on the gravel roads, for instance, the equestrians are out there, there's a lot of concerns when you have a vehicle come by or speeding cyclists. So there's potentially ways to help those roads feel safer for all the users that are on those gravel roads. Could be some education, some kind of explanation of how to utilize those streets for all users.
Okay, and I don't know if you've gotten specific on different roads, but I know I've gotten a number of calls, continuing calls on Wood Road with concern of safety of little kids walking on the road with traffic. And I know it's not predictable. It's not like at this time there's going to be a lot of people, but I've seen pictures where we have pedestrians basically taking up the whole width of the road, and cars find it hard to actually get around them when that happens. So there's concern by residents that live on those roads for the safety of other people, and hopefully we're going to see less traffic, but it's posted as if it's a park. That's the other thing that's come forward to me is it's a road, but it says it's a park, and we go back and forth on this debate. So I guess I'd ask that we continue to look at that and get resident input kind of to see what they're living with and seeing. I don't know if anybody else in council has heard the same thing.
I get a lot of Wood Road phone calls, but I think the pressure will come off of Wood Road as soon as we get some of our green space, additional green space.
Right.
Only by anecdotal updates, it sounds like the Lackey Road being frequently used, and I think that's a terrific way to say that as we open them, they are going to be used. And I think as we get closer to the green spaces, closer to Wood Road, the Country Club in particular, that'll take a lot of pressure off of Wood Road. Look forward to that opening. I assume in the spring.
Just keep your fingers crossed for good weather.
Yeah.
Warm and sunny.
Any other questions for Sarah? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Will the city clerk please say on the next item?
Mayor, that next item is B. It's community development updates presented by our community development director, Mr. Bob Buscemi.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a quick update of the section that we're doing. Okay. Well, I'm proud to introduce some new employees, new members of our team. We're always trying to build a high-performance team, and we've worked hard through the interview process, and I think we've really gotten some really good new team members. So I just want to introduce them and let them speak for themselves. I promised I wouldn't give away their stories. All right, so first is our new permit technician who sits up in the front and does a lot of the community interaction. So Rima, would you introduce yourself?
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Rima, and just want to start off by saying it's been an absolute pleasure working for the city of Milton in this beautiful building. I think I've informally met a few of you before, and everybody's been so welcoming, lovely, helpful. It's really fun to learn how the city functions on the inside and see where a lot of the projects for these buildings and new businesses start. My family and I moved here about 2 years ago from South Florida. We did a lot of research, and Milton kept coming up the top of the list of places to live. So we're very proud to live here. We're happy to be raising our family here. I'm happy my children are in the school system here. And just look forward to meeting more of the residents who've been so lovely that come inside, and more of the residents of Milton. And that's it. I'm a horrible public speaker, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bob. And everyone have a good night.
Thank you. So you are the first line of defense, right?
She is.
That's right.
Thank you.
No pressure comes with that, none
And no
whatsoever.
pressure. I told her no pressure, but it's just hitting me. And we started the new City View all at the same time, so everything was just kind of, but Rima's really great. Yeah, she's doing a great job. We're so happy to have her on board. We also have a new planner too, who Michael. He's going to be helping us with doing plan review and plats and LDP reviews. So I'll let Michael come up a little bit.
Mayor and Council, I'm Michael Cardeman. The past 6+ years, I was a planner too for the city of Roswell. I am super pumped to join the community development team. Everyone's been super friendly, super nice. It feels like I've been here longer than 2+ weeks. I mean that complimentary. But no, I'm really excited to work on some future projects, collaborate, and really hit the ground running. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Welcome. We won't hold the Roswell part against you. Yet.
Yeah, so the team's really been evolving, and it's really been great. I think everybody's been really been participating and giving us quite a bit of involvement, which is nice. They're really in there. All right, so the other thing is I mentioned City View. So just a quick update on City View. I know it's been a while. It did officially launch in late November around Thanksgiving. We had with any new system, we had some system configuration, security issues that we basically addressed during the month of December. We had firewall issues and things like that, which were okay. So we got everything worked out, which was really great. The team has been awesome. Everybody's been helping us. We had David Fazell really step in and do quite a bit. The IT team was helpful. Certainly, Stacy took the lead on all of it and just really guided us through. And I will tell you, it's complex. It's a great system, but there's a lot of complexity too, a lot of things to work through. And with all the help of everybody, including Steve, who really met with us just about on a daily basis every day to really make sure that we were stepping through this correctly. So I just want to say thanks to Steve too. With all that kind of help, my team just really kept having the confidence that we were going to do it, and it's been working. So now in January, we have the portal live. So the portal is the face that people outside, the applicants, residents would interface with. So that's all up and running and actually working well. I'm going to be doing some public training in February for the general public, for the contractors, for the industry, expediters, just to get the word out, to show people how to use it efficiently and if they have any questions. Okay, so what's happening in the section? A lot of staff training. We've really been pushing again for staff training. So the permit technician is Rima will be going, she's prepping for ICC certification, so she'll be certified as a permit technician. And the same thing with the building inspectors. They've been studying and training to get their certifications as well. I'm getting the general staff going to be trained in level 2 certifications for the GSWCC, which is your soil water erosion control. So people get a better idea of what to look for at the sites. If they're on site and they see something, they'll be able to identify it better. And having that training will really help them out. We're also doing training for all your new board members. So I know everybody's picked new members and we have the boards, but we will be very systematically going through formalized training with all these board members to show them things like, what the the BZA do, the bylaws, how does it function? A lot of them have been calling me and saying, Bob, can you give me some more information about what specific areas of the city do and how they've been developed. We have DRB, we've been working with them, and the same thing with the Planning Commission, just to get all your board members up to speed. Some projects, some city projects. We have Milton Country Club. We did have some delays as far as product availability. I don't know if you've seen the news, but everything is delayed. We get everything but the doors, no interior doors. It's like, what happened? So it's been a challenge, I will say, but we've stayed steadfast. The contractor has been really dynamic with it and has been cooperative and really working, trying. We're really done with the construction. We're doing the interiors, furniture selection, some interior detailing on the walls and all. So I would say at the end of this month, we'll probably have the formal grand opening and ribbon cutting to get that open. And then Parks can start programming the use of the space, which would be really great. Fire Station 42, same thing. We went through a big value engineering analysis, and we're just getting those final prices in this week. And we should be able to come next time I come in, I should be able to announce where we are with that. Same thing, a lot of issues and a lot of inflationary problems there. The inflation is just really skyrocketing. So the product pricing has really, really gone up. Labor and products, materials have just really skyrocketed, especially in the last year. Things have really gone up. And I'm not talking about just like 2%. I'm 8, 9, 10, some of them 30% on electrical products. Some of them, the price of steel and things like that. Everything is really going up. So we're really racing to try to overcome that. All right, I always go through a couple of projects, just quick, just to show everybody what's going on around town. So this is over on Windward and Cogburn Road. And we're going to develop this nice little corner. I think it's a good one. Right now it has that kind of wall and it kind of alienates you from Windward. We're going to be removing that along the Windward frontage. And we're going to be constructing a dental facility, a dental office, and another retail building next to it. So it'll be more than just dental. It's about an acre of land, and it's around 6,000 square feet as far as the building. It's gone through DRB already, and it's moving along. I think with the enhanced landscaping, that corner will really start to come alive. We are getting a lot of interest over in the Deerfield area now that things are really moving. So I think that's a positive step, and you're going to see each month when I come in, I'll be showing you more and more of what's going on there. So that's really going to be great. Okay, over in Crabapple area, I've always said that it's pretty much been spoken for. It's all in the development stage. We have almost 100% build out of Crabapple at this point. This one here is John Gaston's. He's on Mayfield, and the building on the left, he's finished construction on, and it's all done. As of today, he called me and said that we got the last final 5,000 square feet rented. We have a lot of offices in there. We have retail on the ground floor and offices up on the upper level. Been very successful. The economy's strong, and he's filled this building up without any effort. But we really are driving in good numbers of employment, good jobs, good high-paying jobs are coming in. So the proposed building, he's now said, gee, Bob, let me finish off the initial master plan, which we always envisioned, which will be the building on the right, sort of a sister building, almost looks the same. We're trying to keep it, the same complex. But that one on the right that he's doing now will actually have underground parking. So, 5 years ago, underground structured parking was just a non-event because of the cost. But now that the price of the projects and the price of land has gone up so much, it's almost making sense for the developers to say that. And I like it because we've reduced all the surface parking, which is really what we're trying to do. So that's coming out nice. If you look at the picture on the lower left, the corner that's carved out, that's also, I got notice today that that's probably going to go through. They entered into a contract. So we'll be building a 15,000 square foot structure there, bringing in approximately 45 office jobs. So that's also going to be a really nice project there. And I've already got that one in the thing. I'll save that for next month. Okay, this one here is at the sort of the bottom portion of the southern portion of Broadwell Road, the property that abuts the city of Alpharetta. But it's sort of the anchor to our form-based code in that area. And actually, we have two structures going on that site. The upper one is the front elevation, so that's retail on the ground floor and residential on the top floor. So you have 3 retail offices and then residential, 3 units on the top. Parking is underneath as well. The lower just went through DRB, and that's going to be a fitness center and some renderings of what that building. So this site will have those 2 structures. Lockwood Construction is doing the project, and it's coming out quite nice. The property to the north of that, to the north of the star, to the top of the page, is actually coming in as well, and we're working with them, developing that property out as well. The beauty of that is we're going to connect a road system, a new road from Broadwell over to Charlotte, which is part of our master plan. But I was able to convince both the property owner on Charlotte and the new developer here on Broadwell to dedicate and donate that land to the city in order to make that connection. So that'll be another nice connection that's in there. I'm working with Sarah to make sure that we kind of design that right. Okay, so at the end, we just have a couple of awards. We managed to be take an award, the 2021 Project Achievement Award for the CMAA. That's the Construction Management Association of America. They're all across the country. It's a big organization. Our chapter includes Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. So it's a pretty big array. They don't give out too many of these awards. The picture on the bottom is on their website. They featured the public safety complex, and this is the physical award that they sent to us. So it's kind of nice. I'm sorry. It's a big achievement award. Yeah, don't shut down. Big achievement award. Just proud of it because I think if you look at their website, they'll tell you that it's really for projects that were on budget and really show a high level of achievement as far as the industry is concerned, as far as scheduling, quality, and I think we hit all the marks. And so that was really nice. And now got another award that I'd like to have Teresa come up on because we worked very hard on this award as well. So I want Teresa to present it.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Green Communities is a program operated by the Atlanta Regional Commission, which helps governments implement measures that will reduce their environmental impact. The mission of the program is something we can all get behind. It's to create a healthier and more livable region. The city of Milton was evaluated on a variety of areas, including energy efficiency, water use reduction and efficiency, trees and green spaces, and we did well there. Transportation and air quality, land use, and then there's a final innovation category. And as the title implies, these are projects that you want to apply for that aren't contained elsewhere in the measure because they're innovative and other people aren't doing them. And so Milton has always done really well in the innovative categories. And this year they've expanded to 4 in the past 2 times we were certified. There were only 3 measures you could apply for. The 4 that we applied for under innovation were our green space program, through which the city has acquired over 400 acres of green space. Our environmental education mini grant program, where the city provides small grants of $600 or less to local schools to fund innovative environmental education projects for their students. Our transfer of development rights, or TDR program, which allows for the protection of valuable farmland, habitat, and environmentally sensitive land while encouraging growth in the areas suitable for denser development. And finally, our walking school bus app. The city received grant funds from Georgia Tech as part of its Smart Cities initiative. The app, called My Waddle, which is super cute, provides real-time group communications for parents, designates primary routes, and provides wait times for students wishing to join the walking or biking groups, which are known as walking school buses. Milton was first recognized as a green community at the level of bronze in 2012, and you recertify every 4 years. So in 2016, we recertified again at the bronze level. And due to world events in 2020, ARC extended the recertification for all the communities that would have recertified in 2020 to 2021. That was perfect timing for us because we were able to go through our comprehensive plan process as well as the 2025 strategic plan. Both of those, well, the strategic plan called for us to achieve silver level in green communities by 2025. And this was echoed in the 2040 comprehensive plan. So I'm pleased to announce that far ahead of a schedule, Milton was awarded the silver level certification for 2021. It was not awarded until January of 2022, but it was a year-long process. So it was a lot of work going into it. And while we are delighted to have reached the level of silver before 2025, as called for in our council adopted plans, we do not intend to rest on our laurels. Areas in which we plan to expand our efforts toward achieving a gold or possibly platinum level include solar, electric vehicle readiness, community compost, community gardens, and a green city fleet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we got silver. And like she said, we're going to keep going and we're going to try to go for gold. And that's the end of my presentation. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Any,
Bob.
any questions for Bob?
Guys, remember, it wasn't that long ago, you guys talked about silver being a pretty lofty goal.
It is.
And here we are.
We worked
So
very hard for the last year to get
Congratulations,
silver.
that's fantastic.
Thank you. Any questions for him? All right. So we will move on to first presentations. Will the city clerk please stay on the first item?
Thank you, Mayor. That first item is consideration of RZ 2115 to create a new use permit, Assembly Hall Indoor Auditorium, Section 64-1846, Agenda Item Number 22037. Item B is consideration of RZ 2116, Article 19, Crabapple Form-Based Code, Article 6.1 definitions to define Assembly Hall Indoor Auditorium, Agenda Item Number 22038. Item C is consideration of RZ 2117, Article 20, Deerfield Form-Based Code, Article 5, Table 10, Specific Function and Use, Agenda Item Number 22039. Item D is consideration of RZ 2118, Article 20, Deerfield Form-Based Code, Article 6.1 to define Assembly Hall Indoor Auditorium, Agenda Item Number 22040. Item E is consideration of RZ 2119, consideration of a text amendment to modify fence and wall specifications exemptions. It's Section 64212, Agenda Item Number 22041. Item F is consideration of RZ 2120, consideration of text amendment to Article 6, zoning text district classifications and boundaries to amend sections on fencing, Agenda Item Number 22042. And Item G is consideration of RZ 2121, consideration of a text amendment to update the definition of fence equestrian with exhibits, Section 64-1, Agenda Item Number 22043. Mayor Jameson?
Thank you. I'd like to open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make motion that we accept the first presentation as read.
Second?
I have a motion from Councilmember Morrig and a second from Councilmember Moore. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. So we will move on to our public hearing. Will the city clerk please sound the item?
Thank you, Mayor. That public hearing item is consideration of a resolution of the City of Milton extending existing moratoriums on the acceptance of new alcohol applications for craft beer and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited service restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and consumption on premises other than incidental service, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, hotels, special event facilities, or eating establishments in the City of Milton, and on the acceptance of applications for development permits, building permits, rezoning, modifications, variances, use permits, warrants, or any other permit provided in zoning ordinance for use of property for craft beer and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited service restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and consumption on premises other than incidental services, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, hotels, special event facilities of eating establishments in the City of Milton. It is agenda item number 22044. Mayor?
I will turn it over to Miss Bernadette Harville.
I
Right?
think the title basically said it all.
Okay. Well, then I'll.
No,
open
I'm
up-
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Then I'll open up for public comment, but go for it.
So good evening, everybody. Before you this evening is a 120-day moratorium on new alcohol licenses and related land use and development permits, rezonings, modifications, variances, warrants, etc., for businesses wishing to have consumption on premise and do not qualify as those incidental service establishments. Think about where you can get a glass of wine or beer, a nail salon or a hair salon. They would not qualify as a BYOB, which is bring your own beverage, where establishments allow you to bring in your own wine or beer for consumption. Think of a paint and sip model in that case. They would not qualify as a farm winery, golf course, hotel, special event facility, or that traditional eating establishment with a 50-50 food to food and beverage sales ratio. So those will still be continued to be allowed to get their licenses and their permits. Everyone else is kind of on the moratorium while we work with staff from community development. And the purpose of the moratorium is to allow staff time to address council feedback related to those businesses, including the creation of standards for the council-issued use permit under Chapter 64. That process involves time for advertising, holding a community zoning information meeting, which is scheduled to be at the end of March, presenting to the Planning Commission at the end of April, and bringing the item before this governing body. The plan right now is to bring it to you in a work session in February, so you can give us some good guidance to make sure that those use permits that go to CZIM and Planning Commission are exactly how you intend them to be. And it'll come back before you at the end of May, early June, on first presentation in the zoning agenda. The 120 days is not set in stone. It may be terminated sooner if we are able to address anything sooner, or it can be extended if needed if we go into that June timeframe. The moratorium also combines the two existing moratoriums. So tonight's moratorium will be the only one existing going forward. The other two will either be lapsing this week or will be circumvented by this one. So I'll be back before you later this evening in new business for your consideration, but right now I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Bernadette before our public comment? Did we have any public comment?
We do, Mayor. We have one. I'd like to invite Miss Mary Cronk to the podium, please.
My name is Mary Cronk and I live at 600 Hickory Mill Lane in Milton. I am strongly in support of extending the moratorium to allow staff the time to accurately translate the directives given by council during the December 6th meeting into revised text amendments for chapters 4 and 64. To paraphrase the council's directive, any businesses in Milton that propose a higher than 50-50 alcohol to food ratio will be required to apply for a use permit with review by the public, with review and recommendations by Planning Commission, and review and approval by City Council before a license can be granted. I think this would allow for flexibility within the code for new businesses that we might be interested in, but it also gives ample opportunity for businesses to continue to thrive under our existing 50-50 ratio. To best utilize this moratorium period, and I'm so glad to hear that there's a work session that's coming up. I just wanted to bring up a couple things to think about. Are there any other sections in code or any chapters that might be impacted by these revisions? And I don't recall this being discussed yet, which does not mean that it hasn't been, but I just wanted to throw this out there, and I apologize if you already have discussed it. But how will the definitions for those businesses with a higher than 50/50 alcohol to food ratio, such as limited food service restaurants, limited tap, breweries, et cetera, how will they be handled in the revised code? Will they remain in code as they are? Will they remain with notes such as the bars and nightclubs have that say that these are prohibited under a 50/50? Or perhaps another option that might be a good one would be to remove them from code to further simplify the code and prevent any kind of confusion or misunderstandings by people who are looking to come into the city with new business. I think that this is going to be an important component in the revised text amendments because it will impact both Chapter 64 and 4. Something else to consider would be brew pubs. Under the current revision, brew pubs are listed under manufacturing. But if you also look at the definition, they are a 50/50 establishment. So would they remain as part of code, or would they also be subject to having to apply for a use permit? So those are two things that I would ask that you guys, I'm sure, are going to put into that work session, which is really awesome. And I know that you'll be ecstatic when this is over, and hopefully 120 or a little longer. And you'll all be able to really focus on those things that we all want in Milton. And I do want to tell you that I appreciate the Planning Commission members for making their recommendations. I appreciate council's willingness over the past few months to listen to our concerns and to get the input from citizens. I really value that. I know that's not the case everywhere. And I want to thank you, staff, Planning Commission, and council for time and persistence and your careful consideration of this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment?
That is all, Mayor.
Okay, so I will close the public hearing. And there will be any council discussion on this, and then we're going to vote on this later on, so. All right. So we will move on to the zoning agenda. Will the city clerk please sound the next item?
Mayor, that item is consideration of RZ 2112, a text amendment to Chapter 64, Article 6, Division 2, AG1 Agriculture to allow certain structures housing animals to conform to the AG1 district minimum yards. It's agenda item number 21359. It was first presented at the December 6th regular meeting, then again at the zoning agenda at December 20th regular meeting, and deferred to the January 10th 2022 work session. Ms. Robin McDonald.
It's not from the beginning. So this is going to be short and sweet. So basically, originally the purpose of this text amendment was to allow more flexibility for the placement of structures housing animals, which are no more than 2,200 square feet on AG1 zone properties that are 3 acres or more in size. Just as a background, this item went to the Planning Commission at their November 17th, 2021 meeting that was at the time unanimously recommended for approval for the proposed text amendment. At the Mayor and City Council's meeting on December 20th, this item was deferred to be able to discuss it further at a work session on January 10th. And during that meeting on January 10th, it was the outcome of the discussion was that the desire of the council was not to proceed with the proposed text amendment. And therefore, tonight, staff is recommending withdrawal of that text amendment, although I'll be prepared to answer any questions or anything that you would like to ask if needed. So.
Thank you. City Clerk, is there any public comment on this?
There is not, Mayor.
Yeah, I'll close that. Any discussion or questions for Robin? Okay, then I will open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we follow staff's recommendation to withdraw the 21-359.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly and a second from Councilmember Morg to withdraw agenda item number 21-359. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. So there's no unfinished business items. We'll move on to new business. Will the city clerk please sound the first item?
Mayor, that item is consideration of a consent final order and judgment in civil action number 19 CV 321909, pending in the Superior Court of Fulton County, Department of Transportation versus .011 acres of land. It's agenda item number 22-046. City Attorney, Mr. Ken Gerard.
Mayor and members of the council, this will be brief as well. This is a consent final order and judgment of which we have no interest. Why we have it in front of you on your agenda is because since we are a taxing authority, this is a GDOT condemnation with respect to it's actually a 0.111 acre take with respect to a project on, it's a widening project on State Route 9 between Academy Street and Windward Parkway. The various interests that you'll see in the style of the case, you'll notice that Milton is not in that style. However, we are a taxing authority, and therefore, whenever there is an acquisition by way of condemnation, they need to make sure the taxes are paid, and they are up to date, and therefore they have asked for us to sign off on this consent order. So, Mr. Mayor, again, I'm representing to you that there is no concern here or a cause for concern. I would simply ask that the council agree that my office may in fact execute this consent final order and judgment and put this.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll close the public comment. And any questions for Ken or staff? All right, I'll open for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we give our city attorney the latitude to proceed as he outlined in pass agenda item number 22-046.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly, a second from Councilmember Moore to give the city attorney the to approve what he just said. How about that?
Execution of the consent order. Thank
There
you,
you
Mr. Mayor.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Will the city clerk please say on the next item?
Mayor, our next item is consideration of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Milton and the City of Roswell regarding fire apparatus fueling services, agenda item number 22047. Matt Marietta.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Pulling up the right one. Yeah. So all of our fire stations have a fueling facility at it. At Station 41, which is the one right around the corner here on Highway 140, has a 1,000-gallon tank for diesel and a 1,000-gallon tank for regular unleaded. All of our fire apparatus are able to fill up there, and our police officers and our city vehicles as well. The City of Roswell has a station right down the street from Cox Road, on Cox Road from Station 41. And we have what's called an automatic aid agreement with the City of Roswell, where they respond to our fires and we respond to theirs, which allows us to mutually support each other. When a structure fire takes all of our apparatus to an incident, then we have somebody that's able to backfill. And basically, if your house is on fire, you're having a heart attack, you don't care if it's Roswell's fire engine or Milton's fire engine showing up, you want help. So we already have a good symbiotic relationship with the City of Roswell. In their model, they don't fuel from their fire facilities. They actually have a massive fueling facility down by the bus barn on Highway 9 where Fulton County Schools parks their bus, if y'all are familiar, off of Hembry Road, a little bit east of the hospital, which is about 6.5 miles from their station. 15-minute drive during good times, anywhere up to half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour when those apparatus usually fill up daily. So they're going way out of their territory to fuel. To us, even though it's not our department, that represents a certain amount of gap in our ability to put units on scene. So the chief approached Chief Ben Musa a month or so ago from Roswell, asking if it would be possible to work out an intergovernmental agreement where they're able to fill that specific apparatus up at Fire Station 41. All of our fuel facilities have a computerized gas maintenance system, so we know exactly which apparatus, which police car, which city vehicle is putting gas into the tank at the time, and we can bill it back to the individual departments. So this would just be an extension of that relationship where they get a fuel key, and then it codes as the city of Roswell, and then, we bill them subsequently for whatever the actual cost of the fuel is. So from a financial standpoint, there's very little impact on our budget. We would just have to increase the amount of fuel that was delivered to that facility. But like I said, there's 1,000 gallons. Most recently, we use about 200 gallons of diesel fuel a month out of that facility. So it's not going to have a significant impact on us. And we'll just, as we see the volume, increase our fuel deliveries to that facility to compensate for it. The big advantage to that is number one, it allows us to play nicely with a neighbor who's playing nicely with us. Actually, while Fire Station 41 is being reconditioned right now, our crews are actually working out of the very station we're talking about in Roswell. And then secondly, it keeps another piece of apparatus in this crabapple response territory more often rather than pulling them all the way over to Hembry Road on a daily basis. So that also increases our coverage. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about this.
Sounds good. Any questions for Matt? Sounds like a no-brainer. Roswell's been a great partner. Any public comment?
There's none.
Okay, I'll close that and open it up for a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Milton and the city of Roswell regarding fire apparatus fueling services.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Morgan, a second from Councilmember Moore. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Will the city clerk please say on the next item?
Thank you, Mayor. That item is consideration of approval of a resolution appointing Gerard and Davis LLP as city attorney to include modified rate structure. It's agenda item number 22048. City Attorney, Mr. Ken Gerard.
Mayor and members of the council, thank you for letting me speak to you on this. I'm going to be very direct with you because there's no indirect way to say this. I am hopelessly conflicted on this issue because obviously it directly impacts me. But this is a rate adjustment that I am bringing to the council with some trepidation simply because I enjoy working in the city of Milton. Enjoyed it since we started in 2007. I think you heard earlier in the meeting tonight about some of the inflationary pressures that are being exhibited everywhere, and we are not immune to that. In fact, 2021 was very challenging for us. I will tell you that with respect to rates in Milton, when we started doing your representation, we began in 2007 is when I first came on representing the city of Milton at $150 an hour. We maintained that rate, I believe, until 2017, $5 per hour. And now we are asking for a notable rate increase. I just honest with you because that's what we are asking for. However, this is not done out of pure mercenary. It's done because all the inflationary forces that we are feeling are also manifesting themselves in the salaries that I'm having to raise and pay my attorneys. I believe our law office is considered a model around the state, and unfortunately that is both a blessing and a curse. It is a blessing because we're able to provide governmental units like yourself, I believe, really good, prompt, and accurate legal information and guidance to hopefully reduce claims and reduce risk. Curse because we are a recruiter magnet. My attorneys are being recruited every day with cold calls from recruiters asking them to come away and luring them with metro prices. And I am having to pay them more. And this is not a place where I want you to cry me a river because lawyers and money is not a place that generally tugs at the heartstrings. So I'm not asking for that, but I at least wanted to provide you in my own words an explanation for this. And so, Mr. Mayor, the rate structure is attached as Exhibit A. It is notable for myself and Angie. Our billing would be $275 an hour. For other partners and of council, $250. Much lower tiered rate for associates 1 through 4, and there'll be no mystery to this. It will be on the bills that you receive, so you won't have to wonder who is a tier 1, who's a tier 2, et cetera. We do endeavor to provide your services with the lowest paid attorney that is competent to do them. However, there come situations where I need to review involved, and you need us to be involved, and we will do that. Other than the rates, what I can tell you is the service we have provided Milton since 2007 will continue. Pleasure and honor representing you, and I hope that you will look on this, if not favorably, then at least from a utilitarian standpoint, it may be. Mayor and council, thank you.
Thank you. We'll open it up for questions for Ken.
Could I?
Yep, Councilman Cookerly.
So I spend a lot of time in this arena, so I was particularly interested in this. And first thing I would say is thank you to the staff for the concise but very direct, very helpful analysis vis-a-vis our sister cities. Very helpful. Ken, I might note that I think, first of all, I think you all do a spectacular job. And I might note that I think you left a lot of money on the table for about 10 years. But in no way do I think, based on my experience of what's in the marketplace, at the muni level and everywhere else, do I think this is a unfair catch-up. In fact, I think there's probably latitude that you could have gone higher. And what I would ask my colleagues to keep in mind, because it's always touchy. I mean, we have this fiduciary role. We want the very best prices so that taxes don't go up, et cetera. But on the other hand, if you got a winner, somebody who wins in the seat because you deal with somebody like Ken and, Molly or everybody, we get answers online. So Ken is a virtual encyclopedia. So for the hourly rate that we're paying while he is sitting here and he's answering questions online that he doesn't have to send out to go have research to then do this and then do that. You couple that with our winning in any kind of litigation and the advice of when to go to litigation and when not to go to litigation, you've been spot on every single time since I've been on council. So I am clearly a big fan. The only time I wasn't a fan of Ken and his law firm is when I was on the opposite side of an issue about 15 years ago, and he won that one too. So other than that, we're doing great. But I just want to say, look, it makes sense to me. I understand it. I deal with it a lot, and I am very supportive of where you need to be because it's still a big bargain for our taxpayers.
Thank you, Carol. And I will say what can be the most costly part of a city is having a bad attorney. That could cost the city a lot of money in the future. And I think they've done a great job over the years. And I think it's reasonable. It's the first increase in 5 years. I mean, I can't believe we're paying $175 an hour, just to be honest with you. So I believe this is reasonable and done a great job. Any questions or discussion? Councilmember Moore or Councilmember Jacobus?
Yeah, I guess my concern really is with staff in that because of the new people on council, I think it would have been really helpful to bring this issue up at a work session before. I mean, we had notice where we could have put it in that work session. Now, I haven't been around long enough to know if there was something that stopped it from being in that work session or not. But for me to understand why we pay what we paid, all of the information, and just have a better feel about what I'm voting on would have been very helpful. And I think a work session could have done that.
Steve, can you give us a timeline on everything?
I can, but I can also respond to that concern.
Okay.
We got this on December 15th. And as you know from the email I sent out to y'all, it is, we wanted to add some analysis. This would not be something that we would historically put in a work session. There is no work to be done except analysis, which is why I sent it out to y'all a week ahead of time and asked for any questions back. I did get a couple of questions, very surface questions about what would happen if you chose not to go forward with Ken's office in the future. But this would not something I would normally put on a work session because there's no work to be done. A work session is kind of a roll up your sleeves and get to action. This is no different really from any other contract that we put before you.
Councilmember Moore?
Yeah, Steve, I think you gave us an estimate of what this would cost additional, and I'm assuming the 89,000 or 90,000 is above what we had budgeted this year. Is that correct?
I would estimate that it would go, if, so long as we stayed in line with budget. Obviously, we're in the beginning of the fiscal year. If it stayed perfectly aligned, we would be roughly $80,000 to $90,000 over budget.
Okay. Is there any way, I guess speaking to Jan's concern, maybe it's not a work session, but can we get some analysis of where we're spending our money? I know we authorized a few years ago to have Ken's firm be in the planning commission meetings, which I fully support because that helps them make decisions real time. That was an issue we had before. I just would be interested to kind of see when you're doing the estimation of where these costs are going to be, maybe for the education of the new council members, where do we see this estimate? Because we're going to have now an additional 80 to 90,000. Can you give us a breakdown underneath there where those fees are going or where we think we're spending them?
I'd be happy to. We could certainly break out all the bills for the last year to see who's been using the attorneys and to, it's broken down by each of the individual departments. In fact, it's even broken down by each of you. And we can identify where we're spending the money and how it's being spent. And if the council would like us to revisit how we approach these things, we'd be glad to.
I mean, I'm assuming you're going to look at any type of cost savings we have. We're not going to just absolutely just call Ken's office every single hour and just waste money. So
I personally don't feel, sorry, gentlemen, I just don't think that's necessary.
I mean, I don't have
think
a-
we're over digging into basically something that's extremely transparent.
But I'm assuming we have all that information anyway, right? I mean, we have.
Milton has it and my office has it
Yeah.
because of the granularity of our billing. We know exactly where.
Yeah, if Councilmember Moore, I mean, that's something he could easily just request to
Yeah,
get.
and again, I'm not looking down to the person. That's not what I was asking, Steve. What I'm just trying to understand is, okay, where are we spending? Is it meetings? Just get a feel for really where we're spending it. I don't think we're spending money foolishly, so that's not the reason for my question. It's more for education to understand where we're spending legal fees. I don't know if no one else is interested in that and understand that data, then maybe Ken could just give me a quick summary and that would be fine for me. It's just more education. I know a few years back, we looked at this a little bit more granularly. We did look at our legal fees and where they were going. It's been a while. It would just help me from an education standpoint to know where we're spending or where we're investing.
I'd be glad to. I'll pull all that information and get it out to the entire council.
Councilmember Moore?
Yeah, I just add 2 cents to that. I think if you look back, if you take an assessment of year over year, we had a rather extraordinary year last year with the kinds of things that we needed legal advice on. And there were some pretty extraordinary circumstances that had us into the wee hours of the night. And I hope that we don't have that kind of a 2022. Hope that was an anomaly. You can never plan for that, but I think that's what makes budgeting difficult also when it comes to legal coverage. So I'll park my comments about the actual cost because I think we've gotten a lot for what we've paid for and believe that we've been extraordinarily represented by your firm, Ken, over the last, since the very beginning. And look forward to your continued efforts on our behalf, which has served us so well.
Any other discussion? Is there any public comment?
There is none, Mayor.
Okay, so I will close that and then I will open it up for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the modified rate structure going forward, agenda item number 22-048.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly, a second from Councilmember Moore to approve agenda item number 22-048. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Will the city clerk please say on the next item?
Thank you, Mayor. That next item is consideration of a resolution of the City of Milton extending existing moratoriums on the acceptance of new alcohol applications for craft beer and wine markets and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited service restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and consumption on premises other than the incidental services, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, hotels, special event facilities, or eating establishments in the City of Milton, and on the acceptance of applications for development permits, building permits, rezoning modifications, variances, use permits, warrants, and/or any other permit provided in the zoning ordinance for use of property for craft beer and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited service restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and consumption on premises other than incidental service, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, hotels, special event facilities, or eating establishments in the City of Milton. It's agenda item number 22044. Mayor Jameson.
Okay. Ms. Harville, do you
I
wanna say anything?
apologize.
Okay, it's okay.
244, Assistant City Manager, Ms. Bernadette Harville.
Spare you any further. Like I said, this is just a combination and the extension.
Any public
Wow.
comment, Ms. City Clerk?
There are none, Mayor.
Okay. Open for motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consideration of the moratorium, agenda item number 22-044.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Morg and a second from Councilmember Cookerly to approve agenda item number 22-044. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. We will move on to mayor and council reports. I'll just say a brief comment. Thanks staff and Steve and police and fire and Sarah and Greg, and I think the communications team for thinking we're going to have a big blizzard. And we were well prepared. We certainly were well prepared. So maybe it was a practice run for something big later on. So.
And I appreciate the public awareness that you guys put out. I think that
Fabulous.
was well served in the community, that they had a high level of awareness as to your level of preparation. So thanks
That
to
was
you all.
Quite good. Thank you.
So I'll turn it over to Chief. Oh, you get, oh, sorry.
I have
Councilmember Moore, sorry.
One more quick one.
You're good.
Just, I had the pleasure of being invited to speak to a Boy Scout troop last night. I don't remember the number of the troop, my apologies, but it was Scoutmaster Travis Allen that extended the invitation. We met at St. Aidan's Church last evening for about an hour and a half. A great presentation made by Scoutmaster Allen to the young boys about city government. And in order for them to earn a badge, they had to interview a elected official. So for about 45 minutes, I was grilled by about 20 boys ranging from about 12 to 16 years of age. I will tell you, I was impressed with their knowledge of the city of Milton. There was one young man from Johns Creek, another from Canton, but they were equally aware of what's going on in Milton. And high praise for our public service and the way we conduct ourselves with a city manager-led government. They asked some good questions. They were very aware of land planning. They were very sensitive to like current affairs with waste management issues today with staffing. They applauded our recycle program and had good things to say about it. So I was left the evening with a high confidence in the young minds that are being raised in that particular scout troop, and it was my pleasure to be available to them to help them earn their badge.
Councilmember Moore, is this on video?
It is not, thank goodness.
They can't vote. And they can't
I
vote.
actually have the opportunity, I'm doing it again, to help to maybe shape or warp the young minds. I've been invited to speak to a Cub Scout group 2 Sundays from now. So
You are a popular man.
we will do that again.
Anybody else?
Get the voters early.
Nice. Okay, Chief.
Greetings, Mayor, members of council. Tonight, I'd like to update you on our year-end numbers for our crash and crime data. Pleased to report that, as I mentioned earlier, our crash efforts have been largely successful this year. We've been comparing our crash data to 2019, since, of course, 2020 saw a drastic decline in the number of cars on the road due to COVID, making that an anomalous year. So compared to 2019, we ended the year down just under 15% in overall crashes. We're down in property damage crashes 15%, and also personal injury crashes, 15%. Alcohol-related crashes were also down significantly. And we also fared very well in the area of crime reduction. We had a 1% reduction. So as our city continues to grow, getting those reductions are more and more elusive, but this is after a very significant reduction in 2019. So we're fighting some very low numbers, which is good news. And other PD news, as you saw on the consent agenda, the PD was awarded a $39,000 grant from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. And this is to continue our de-escalation and defensive tactics training. This began last year with the primary grant, which was $119,000. We're also partnering with the Alpharetta Police Department to utilize those funds, sort of a force multiplier, so that we can make sure that we're making the most use of those grant monies. Also in kind with the overarching city strategic plan, the police department's in the final stages of developing our 5-year strategic plan that will coalesce with the master plan. This document is going to help PD remain on track in addressing the needs of our growing city, and will work to keep our crime low and our quality of life high. And we look forward to sharing that with you once that's completed. And last but certainly not least, on February the 11th at 3:00 p.m. in the Milton Municipal Court, we'll be hosting a promotional ceremony. During that time, we'll celebrate the promotion of Officer David Little to Sergeant, Sergeant Andrew Noblet to Lieutenant, and we'll also celebrate the public swearing in of Officers Patel and Ma, who came to us with a wealth of experience from other departments. And we'll also be, very interestingly, swearing in Officer Parker Shaw, who not only grew up in Milton, but came through our Police Explorer program. So he just graduated from the University of North Georgia with not only his degree, but his police certification. So he came to us already certified and ready to hit the streets, and he's in field training as we speak. So hope you'll be able to join us in that celebration as your schedule permits. And that's all I have from PD, unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Chief, congratulations. In an environment when it's so hard to recruit and place new officers, I think the fact that Milton is acquiring some of these fine young officers, job well done. Really acknowledgement of what the environment you're creating in Milton it's a great place to work.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Chief.
Bernadette? That you? Oh, nice.
2022.
Nice. Delegating out. I like it.
This is my first one. Good evening and Happy New Year, Mayor and City Council. Finance would like to congratulate our newly elected mayor and council members and welcome you to visit us at any time. Our new fiscal year began on October the 1st, 2021, and we've hit the ground running. We've been working diligently to prepare for our annual audit, which began yesterday, January 18th. I feel confident that we are well prepared. After the audit is complete, we will prepare our annual comprehensive financial report, or ACFR, to be published by March 31st, 2022. Property tax payments have come in steadily as expected. Any payments received after December 15th have accrued a small amount of interest, which will continue to accrue monthly until paid. Our supplemental bills will be mailed out this month for taxpayers whose property tax appeals were settled with the county, with Fulton County. Property tax refunds for prior year adjustments and overpayments were sent out on January the 11th. The delinquent tax notices will be mailed out in February, beginning the FIFA process, which usually ends with a tax sale. However, we haven't had a tax sale since 2012. Alcohol beverage license renewals have been processed for the 2022 license year. The Georgia Department of Revenue has gone live with its new centralized alcohol licensing portal on January 12th for all new alcohol license applicants. So any business owners who wish to apply for a new alcohol beverage license will apply in the Georgia Tax Center, which is the same portal where they file their sales and use tax returns. The renewals for alcohol beverage licenses are scheduled to go live in this portal starting in September 2022. Hopefully that date won't change. Business license renewals were sent out in late December and are due on or before March 31st, 2022 without accruing any penalty or interest. And I also want to take this opportunity to highlight the work of my invaluable team in the few short months that I've held this position. I will start with Honor Moats. She's our procurement manager. She works diligently to make sure that our procurements are legally sound and that they promote competition, providing the best value for the taxpayers' dollars, while also administering our purchasing card program. She is the backbone of our team. Wendy Johnson is our accounting manager. She keeps us in line with the GASB, which is Governmental Accounting Standards Board pronouncements, as well as GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles compliance. She's the brain power of our team. Cynthia Earp is our financial services administrator. She's our property tax subject matter expert, as well as our expenditure liaison. She is the heartbeat of our team. Jean Kemp is our revenue specialist. She meticulously takes care of our lien activities, document management, and open records preparation. She is exceptionally calm as she works the front desk. She's our voice of reason, and she's the steady hand that we need sometimes in finance. She is the yin at the front desk. And Lisa is our revenue coordinator. She's usually the first person our customers encounter at our front desk and the subject matter expert for alcohol beverage licensing, as well as occupational taxes. She's our burst of energy and our customer service guru. She is the perfect complement to Jean. She is the yang at the front desk. And together, Jean and Lisa are the face of finance. So I'm so grateful to have these lovely ladies as my teammates as we continue to support the city of Milton in fiscal year 2022. I'll be happy to answer any questions that
Okay,
council may
you're
have.
gonna get grilled.
Quick comment.
Okay, Councilmember Cook, really?
That being your first presentation, it was lovely. And thank you for introducing everyone else to us.
Yes.
And it sounds like to me that you have a superpower squad of women.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
back in the day, it was kind of thought that men did the numbers and it was all about the men, but the women are killing it on the money.
Yes.
So thank you.
Girl power.
No
yes.
disrespect to men, I'm a big fan of men, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So that will leave us, we're gonna go adjourn into executive session to discuss land acquisition, personnel, and
Litigation.
litigation. Open for a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, motion to reconvene.
Wait.
I got a motion from Councilmember Morgan to
Let me
reconvene.
get my hands ready because I gotta, hold on just a sec. We just had,
I mean,
we had
Boss here.
Morg and
we have
Moore.
a second. Did you second it? I did.
All in favor?
Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now I'd like to have a
Motion to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn. Councilmember Morgan, second from. Give me a second. Jacobus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we get Tammy? Morg, Jacobus.
More and more.
He used to want to be up here so bad.
He's on my side.
He wants to be up here. I still have your mayor shirt. Still have it. Still have it. Yep.
Thank you, Mulvey.
Not proper attire.